Been gone for a while, now I'm back with the remix. For the peeps in the club, I pray that they feel this. Not for my glory, but for his. So by the end of the joint, they'll know that Jesus lives. This be the one to free my fellas and shine in God's love to see me.
Basically, I started doing music when I was 16 years old. I started off as a DJ. I was doing underages, I was doing house parties and things like that. I got saved when I was about 18. From that point on, I really wanted to make my music for the Lord, but the flesh kind of got in the way, so it took some time to actually readjust myself until the point I was about 21 when I was probably involved in a lot of secular music, and I thought, look, God's called me to something better than this. So I really made a big change in my life then. I just said, nah, this is it. I'm going to make my music strictly for the Lord. And from that point on, I've been doing this music. So that's how it all started, and that's where it's at now. 5-1 came about when I was about 20 years old. It was a record label that I created for myself and for artists that I was nurturing at the time. It wasn't a Christian record label at the time because I wasn't doing Christian music, but when I did get saved, I decided to revamp everything, and so the artists that I was working with at the time that were on 5-1 left because they didn't have the same vision and desire that I had to make gospel music. So that was the end of that, but the cool thing was it was rebirthed and it was restored and it was sanctified into something that God could use. So now 5-1 is a strictly gospel hip-hop record label, and we don't release anything else other than gospel music, which is what God has called us to do.
You can see me.
I really see God taking what we have at the moment, which is our gospel hip-hop music, and I just see just nothing but growth. Simply because there's a culture out there that hasn't been tapped into properly, and because of that, a lot of people now are responding to the gospel through this genre of music. So all I see is increase. I see increase in numbers at the events. I see increase in rappers that are going to come to the Lord. I see increase in gospel singers that are going to come to the Lord because of this one desire that a certain group of us have. It's not about competition. It's not about trying to be better than anyone else. It's just about increasing the kingdom. And I do feel that, and I feel in my spirit that the more and more we're diligent to God and His calling, the more and more fruit we're going to see out of this. For the past year, I've been working on my second solo album. It's entitled MIA, which stands for Mark is Anointed, which is what the name MarKia actually means. The album is 17 tracks. It features 211, features Tino, Lozo, Rai, the El Shaddai crew. It's just packed with Australian gospel hip-hop talent. It's something that I've been working on for such a long time because I wanted to make sure that every track represented something of God's heart. And I really just pray that this album will sincerely change lives, not just salvation-wise, but by discipleship, encouragement, and teaching. The first single off the album is Send Me, which features Rai. The track is a club track, which talks about getting out of the club to fulfill God's calling. So yeah, August it drops, so yeah, be expecting. Down with the King, I got involved with probably at the end of 2006. I met up with a friend who had told me that he had another guy from his church that was interested in doing a gospel hip-hop event. His name is Chris McGregor, who is the owner and founder of Down with the King. We met one afternoon and we discussed our purposes and our visions and our goals, and they all coincided with each other. So I helped him out whichever way I could with artists and just people that he wanted to get involved with. And then that was it. And from that point on, January 2007 was the first one. We had about 400 plus people at Springvale Town Hall, which is incredible. And it was great to see just gospel hip hop just represented in that magnitude. So yeah, from that point on, it just continued to grow, and I've always just loved to be part of it, even if I'm performing or not. I always told Chris, because I agree with your vision, I'm always going to support it. And so that's why, yeah, even for this time, even though I'm not performing, I'm always going to support it, which is a great thing. I feel like Down with the King is probably the epitome of the outreach event for urban people, I think. It's something that hasn't been done before, and for me to be part of it is something that I see as God bringing to pass what He's been working on for so many years. So Down with the King really is a fruition, or the promise of everything that we've worked for the last 3 or 4 years. It is something that I'm a part of because I understand the vision, and God has spoken, and He said that gospel music isn't just rock based, or it's not just to that kind of church model that we're so used to, but it can be used in R&B, it can be used in hip hop, and so that's exactly the reason why I'm part of Down with the King, and I'm always going to support it and always going to be part of it. One of the artists performing this year is someone that's performed for the last 3 Down with the King events. Tino, of course. He's part of 5-1 Entertainment. He's one of my artists. What I love about Tino is that every time he performs, it's all about Christ. It's all about Jesus. It's all about getting the name of the Lord out there. Expect an incredible show from him because he always likes to perform and he likes to entertain people, but he also likes to outreach in that. So expect some great things from him. One thing that we're in desperate need of in the Australian gospel industry is female gospel artists. At the moment, I count one, and she's probably one of the best, period. Her name is Skylar. I've known Skylar since I was 16 years old. She has one of the most incredible voices you'll ever hear in your life. The moment she grabs the mic and she sings, everyone pays attention. Be on the lookout for Skylar. She's going to be incredible at this year's event. The last Down with the King event was in February. It was at Paran Town Hall. The person that gave the word that night was phenomenal. Everyone that was at that event knew that there was something completely different about him, and they're exactly right. Phenomena is one of those artists who takes every opportunity he has to strictly outreach, and not just with words but with his spirit, and every time he gets on that stage you feel the presence of God around him and in that room itself. He's going to be there again this time around, so I'm just expecting great things from him. This time last year, I had the blessed opportunity to go on tour with the El Shaddai crew, who are the headliners for this upcoming event. The El Shaddai crew are an awesome tool in the hand of God because they are talented and they are spirit-filled. I've had the opportunity to work with them musically. I featured on their latest album and they're featured on my upcoming album. We've built a great relationship over this last 2 years. They've performed at pretty much every youth group and every church outreach event in Australia and in New Zealand. I can't wait to see what they bring to Down with the King. It's going to be the first time they perform together as a group. In February, Three Nails performed with DJ Del Rey, which was incredible in itself. This time it's going to be El Shaddai crew together, and I'm just excited to see what happens.
Tell me what it is. 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 It's that anointing in my life. Tell me what it is. 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 It's that anointing in my life.